Hello everyone and welcome to White Jasmine Everyday Cooking. I'm Huma Siddiqui, and as you know, I just love to create simple, easy and delicious recipes. So I hope that you find them, if you have tried my recipes before, I hope you found them to be wonderful and easy, because that's the philosophy of our business, is really to create recipes that everybody can make. I shouldn't be the only one cooking that. I want you to try it. And the only way for us to be able to do that was to make them very, very simple. And I hope that you find them simple and easy. And that's the whole idea. I think that cooking, the philosophy is really to encourage people to cook at home and share them with their friends and families. And believe me, if you cook well, you make a lot of friends very quickly. And I have tried that, and wherever I have lived in the world, it always, always works. It doesn't matter which side of the world you grew up or what language you speak, food becomes that language. And it's just wonderful to be able to create that around you. So anyway, today's menu, we have a great menu, very simple and very easy. We have some boneless chicken with roasted red peppers and some of our spices, of course, and a bunch of garlic and cilantro. So start thinking about all those flavors in your mouth. I hope that you can, and start imagining those flavors coming, together. And then we are going to make some eggplant with a tandoori eggplant, which is made with our Tandoori masala and a lot of yogurt, and that creates a very moist, a wonderful sauce that goes around the eggplant. And then also going to make some rice to go with it, rice is a very, it's a staple back in India and Pakistan. So I'm going to make some basmati rice with some whole spices and a bit of turmeric, and then you will see it will all turn out beautiful. So let's warm up the pan first. And I always like to make the rice first because it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. By the time the rest of the entrees are ready, your rice will be done. And you can serve all at the same time. Also, I have a special guest today from Yelp, and Dane is going to be my guest, and we'll get him working on some of the chopping stuff and see how he does. But we are very excited to have him on the show today, and he will talk about Yelp and how wonderful that service can be for businesses and for consumers. So hang in there. Let's warm up the pan, add some canola oil. Again, I don't like to use olive oil for my rice because olive oil is a little bit too strong for rice. Rice has its own fragrance, its own flavor. And what you always want to do is to enhance the flavor rather than cover it up. So keep that in mind. And you can use vegetable oil too, if you want. And just make sure that your pan is warm, your oil is warm, and then we'll start adding some whole spices. So some whole cumin, a couple of green cardamoms, and what they do, the whole spices, is they just start to infuse the oil. So you can start thinking about those flavors. Actually, when everything cooks in that oil, it gets, it's going to just get better and better. Because food is all about flavor. And without just bland food, I think is really a waste of calories. So think about that. Might as well just not eat it. So as it starts to get warm, and I can smell it, it's just your kitchen starts to smell just wonderful, and your home very warm, very inviting. And I think that's the description of a wonderful home. So add some rice. I've just rinsed it very gently. I just want to throw that in here. And rice is one thing that I would strongly recommend that please don't stir it too much, because I know that I've met some people on the way where they just like to stir it to death. And rice is something that is very delicate, so just kind of be very gentle with it and leave it alone as much as you can. And having said that, I'll just stir it very, very gently. Add a bit of salt. And a little bit of turmeric. And it's a very healthy spice, as you know. It's a very healing spice. I like to throw in most of my dishes as much as I can. And it adds beautiful color to it too. And actually back home it's called the poor man's saffron, because it adds the color but is not as expensive as the saffron. So just a little idea. So now we just want to add a little bit of warm water. And you always want to use warm water because it helps the cycle of cooking. And we have had many debates about that, and probably if you have watched our show, you've heard all this again, but some of our audience may not have. But you know, when you're adding water to your rice, 2 cups of rice, 3 cups of water. However, I know. However, if it should be 1 knuckle higher, the water should be 1 knuckle higher than your rice, and it will turn out wonderful. I've had this debate with our executive producer, who happens to be my son as well, that he thinks that that's not true, and his rice doesn't behave like that, which I don't know why, and why not, and I don't want to get into all that debate. But the question always is that, well, my hand is bigger than yours, how can that be true? Well, it works for me, and if your hand is bigger than me, then it's not my problem, really. You've got to figure it out. So, but this is the tip that if you use it, it will work, just so you know. So we'll leave it to come to a boil, and then once it does, we'll just cover it and leave it on low heat and just forget about it for the next 15 minutes or so. So I just want to increase the heat a little so that it does come to a boil, and then we'll leave it alone. So the next item that I wanted to start with is our chicken. So this is just boneless chicken. And what I wanted to do is add a couple of spices to it before we start doing the onions, and I'll show you all the steps for it. So let's add our Garam Masala, which is a combination of 5 different spices. This is one of the White Jasmine exclusive spice blends. A little bit of chili powder. I don't know about you guys, I like it hot and spicy. A bit of salt, and I'm sure everybody will live with it. So we'll keep it sort of moderate. And then we'll leave it alone, and then when we come back, we'll start, kind of sauteing the onions and going, we're going to start going with the chicken. So hang in there. Welcome back to White Jasmine Everyday Cooking. So our rice has started to boil, and I just want to put it on low heat and cover it. So let's do that first. And just cover it and forget about that. And I'll show you when it's sort of done. And in this pan, I want to warm it up and start with the chicken. So here's our chicken kind of marinating in all of the spices. And the pan is getting warmer. Add some olive oil. And make sure the bottom of your pan is all covered with the oil, sort of evenly. It just helps with the even cooking of everything. So just some, a few little tips here and there. And as it starts to get warmer, I'm going to add some whole spices again. So a couple of large cardamoms. These are black cardamoms, a little bit different than the green ones. Has more like a smoky flavor to it. And then a couple of green cardamoms. Some cloves. And they will start to do their magic while I chop the onion. So just a yellow onion that you can use adds a bunch of flavor. And also, I always say that don't be shy about using your flavors generously. So a nice big onion and some good garlic, not a pinch of garlic or anything. I'll show you in a minute. And some good, good amount of spices as well, because that's what you're looking for. How else would you create the flavors if you don't add all of those things? I know people shy away from adding a lot of it. It cannot damage anything. Believe me. So we're just going to chop it. And start throwing them in here. You can use a red onion if you like. It just has a little bit, kind of, I want to say, more delicate flavor than the yellow onions. The yellow onions are a little bit more bolder, and you're looking for bold flavors in this dish. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just kind of chop the onion and throw that in there. It will all come together. There we go. Start to smell it in just a minute. Any questions from our audience yet? No? Everybody's hungry? That's a good thing. So let's add a bit of garlic, a bit of roasted red peppers. And look at these peppers, they're just beautiful. I'm using them from a jar. Well, you know, this is America. You can use, some of the jar stuff is pretty good actually. I don't always like to use it, but these red peppers, I use them often because they're really, the flavor is very fresh. The taste is really good. So these are just beautiful, and I leave them as they are, sort of in big chunks. And once you get them in your mouth, you'll get a little explosion. And that's always a nice surprise, isn't it? A little bit of your hearty in your mouth can't hurt. So once you start to saute these onions, I'm just going to add, and look at them, they're not really very brown or anything, just very lightly golden brown on the edges, and that's what you want. Let's add our chicken first. And the chicken will be so happy in a minute when I start to add all these other flavors. You will see that. And some of the peppers will add this wonderful flavor to it without even a lot of work. Let's add all of it. Then we'll add a bit of garlic. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. That's all I can say. So don't shy away from your garlic at all. It's good for your heart. Hey, why not? So let's just throw in all of it. Why not? And once there's all these flavors, now think about all these flavors in here. Once they start to get together with the chicken, and that's what we want. And we'll leave it for a few minutes to cover it, leave it alone and let it cook. We'll take a short break. When we come back, you will meet Corey, and we'll go from there. So hang in there. Welcome back to White Jasmine Everyday Cooking. I just wanted to let you know that I've added a little bit of warm water to our chicken, so it's cooking very happily in here. And before I kind of lower the heat a little bit, I want to show you our rice. And look at this beautiful rice here. See how it all comes kind of separated, and the grains are really long and fluffy, and that's what you want. So if you leave it alone, you will get this result. Just slowly kind of turn it over, and all the water is gone, so it's ready to go, basically. So I'm just going to take this off of the heat. Oh gosh. And put this away, cover it, and we will try it later. Let's move our chicken, this pan, and cover it. Then I would like to invite Corey get our pan over here. So Corey, would you mind joining me? Well, nice to see you.
Great to see you as well.
Yeah, thank you. So Corey is the communication community director for Yelp,
Exactly.
right? And if you would like to move over
certainly.
here, we'll get you to work.
Oh boy. All right.
There's onion is waiting for you to be chopped.
All right, jumping on in.
So tell us a little bit about Yelp and what do you do?
Yeah, so Yelp is a website and a mobile app that connects people to really great local businesses throughout Madison. So if you are searching for maybe a restaurant to have dinner at, or a nightclub for a girls' night out,
Sure.
or even a place to get your hair cut or a real estate agent, you can search thousands of businesses right here in Madison and read reviews written by friends and neighbors.
And some of them are great. You know, there are people who continue to there's an elite group, isn't it? And so how do you become an elite member?
Yeah,
what
it's a great
happens?
question. So there is this elite squad of Yelpers here
Right.
in Madison, and these guys go out, I would say maybe 3, 4, 5 times a week sometimes, and really sort of celebrate the things that make Madison so magnificent. And we nominate them to this elite squad. There's a council in San Francisco that...
The squad the title seems really like aggressive.
It's very mysterious,
Yeah,
right?
I know. Like, do they have to wear a uniform or something? The elite squad is coming. I mean, that's how I picture it.
It's intense. There's a room full of cloaked people in San Francisco who actually read over
really?
these profiles. Yeah.
Interesting. I want to be one of those.
We should get you nominated. You'd be perfect. But no, they're really great, and they really have a lock on the things that make Madison so great, and they're writing about it as well.
Okay.
They're checking in on their mobile app. They're taking photos, so they're really active.
Nice, very nice. And for businesses as well, I think it's a great service because then we get to know as a business what people say about what we do and some good feedback, and we always appreciate that because that's how you can continue to improve your business as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That how does the community sees us?
Right.
So, great job, by the way.
Well, thank you.
I'm just going to reach out here, add some whole cumin, and then the onions. So you like to cook as well, Corey, don't you?
I do, yeah. People ask me all the time, with my job being so food heavy, if I'm ever at home cooking, and I try to cook a couple times a week.
Yeah. What sort of things do you like to cook?
Anything that's easy. So this already is perfect for me.
Yeah, is it? Well, good.
Anything
That's
that
good to
doesn't take
know.
a lot of time.
And how long have you been with Yelp?
So I started in 2010 in Arizona, actually. In
long
Southwest.
ways. What made you come to Madison? It's so cold, Arizona, Madison.
Exactly. I do have some family in the Midwest, so I'd been in Arizona for about 7 years. 2 of those years I was with Yelp, and I wanted to get back to the Midwest, closer to some family and friends back here.
Sure, that makes sense.
Ooh, that smells great.
Yeah, thank you. As soon as you add the onions, it starts to bloom. Well, let's chop this eggplant, if you don't mind.
All right.
So you just have to take the head off.
Okay. Just straight down
Yep.
there.
Sure, go for it.
Okay.
And then you want to cut it in half, lengthwise.
Lengthwise and half.
And then you want to put this like this and just cut it a few strips and then chop them.
Got it.
So you're very good in kitchen. Take good
Great
instructions.
teacher.
Always helps. I'm always kind of a little worried about my guests kind of handling the knife because I don't know how that would work out. But I had some confidence in you. You're welcome.
I did cook with my mom growing up.
Oh, did you?
She was able to teach me a couple of things.
Well, that's always good. It's always fun to do
How
that.
to cook better. She was good, but I think I do a little differently.
Yeah, that's great. Anything else you would like to share about Yelp?
Sure, yeah. I think, many people know it as a great review site, but there's also a pretty comprehensive event listing as well. So I'll plan, depending on the month, anywhere between 2 and 4 events. Celebrating local businesses, getting people offline. The great thing about them is they're always free, so complimentary experiences all over Madison.
So how would people know about? They have to go to the website?
It's a good question. Yeah, Yelp.com/events.
Okay.
The best place.
It's the page for it.
Is the page for it. Yelp.com/events. And you can
Keep
also find
chopping.
events. so much to do. I guess I should work for my meal, right? You can also find events now on our mobile app. So Yelp has a free mobile app for smartphones and tablets as well. And events are now on there too.
Sure. So anybody can join the events, or how does it work?
Yeah, anybody. You don't even need to be writing reviews here in town. So if you have a free profile, you can click I'm in, and
easy enough.
Is, in a controlled setting, we create the guest list. So you do have to RSVP, but you don't need to be a Yelp elite.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I'm adding some of our tandoori masala here. You can tell I just kind of douse it in. A little bit of chili powder. Have some heat. Yeah, you can throw that in. Well, see, you're learning pretty quick. I'm impressed. That's great. And so how do you know, how often do you think people write reviews? How does it work? How many reviews do you think you get in a day for different things?
Wow, that's a great question. You know, it ranges depending on the day. Obviously on the weekends, people are out and about. They're not maybe writing that much from their computer. But during the week, activity is really picking up. There's so many great local restaurants throughout the Madison area. And it's not just restaurants. So you can truly write about anything you're experiencing that has a local address here in town.
Sure. And anybody can go in and create an account and write a review?
Yeah, absolutely anybody. So we ask people to add a real photo and a real name. It makes the experience more personal that way.
Of course.
But not everybody does. Some people like the anonymity of being able to go online and share their thoughts, their feedback.
Sure. Well, that's wonderful. And for our audience at home and audience here, if you want to go and check out the the website and see how you can become one of those elite squads, that's what I'm interested in, then that would be fantastic, and give some feedback to Corey as well about your thoughts. And we'll take a short break. Corey, great job. Thank you. This looked great.
Good.
And I appreciate that. Well, an applause for our... And we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll finish this meal, so don't go away. Welcome back to Why Jasmine Everyday Cooking. We're almost done, and as we were talking to Corey, I just wanted to make sure that I also wanted to explain all the ingredients, that I was just adding things so you know what they were. I added a little bit of our tandoori masala, which is this one. It has 13 different spices in it, so it brings a lot of flavor to the dish. And also some chili powder and a little bit of salt and turmeric. So those were some of the main spices that went in here, and then plain yogurt. I use a lot of plain yogurt in my cooking because, first of all, it really adds a lot of moisture without adding the water, and adds a lot of flavor to it. And yogurt is good for you, so why not use that as one of the vehicles for to carry the spices into the food. So I use that quite a lot, and you can see that creates a wonderful sauce in here. Just a little bit more. And we will add some cilantro, check out our chicken, and the food will be ready. So all these dishes will come together. When you're putting a menu together, just remember what flavors each of the dishes bring to the table and kind of combine them so that they complement each other. And that's the most important part. So take a bunch of cilantro. And let's chop it. And all I do is kind of roll it together. And throw the stems in here too, because they have just so much flavor in them. You don't want to throw it away unless they're really, really big stalks. But other than that, it all is good. So while this is kind of cooking and the sauce is looking beautiful, let's check on our chicken. It's doing well in here. See how happy the chicken looks with all that garlic? I told you. That's how it's going to turn out. So all you want to do is just kind of get that beautiful sauce. Just going to increase the heat a little bit so that we can get rid of some of the sauce and get it a little bit thicker. That's what my goal is. And let's add some cilantro to it, and then we'll take it off. And the chicken is cooked, obviously, so no problems there. And again, take a bunch of cilantro. And you know, fresh herbs, wonderful spices, some fresh ingredients. That's a meal that you can really call it a meal and enjoy it. So here we go. Beautiful color, beautiful flavor. That's what food is all about. Yes.
Different flavors in those two dishes. But
Yes.
Some are the same.
Some of them are the same, yes. But what happens is, even if you add the same kind of flavors, both of the dishes, it should complement your original ingredient. So in this dish, this tandoori masala and everything will complement the eggplant. And in this, we have a lot of garlic and we have red peppers, although we have some of the same spices in here. But I actually use the garam masala in this one. So I think this is done. Let's switch it off. And our tandoori, this is done too. And you want to keep a bit of texture. You don't want to like cook it to death, you know. So a bit of texture in here. Let's formulate our plate. That's always the fun part at the end of the show. See what everything looks like. Get some rice, which is looking very pretty. And I don't know about everybody else. I like my food to look beautiful. Who wants ugly food anyway? Yeah. Maybe some people do, I don't know. I don't. So add some chicken on the side. A bit of sauce. And some of our tandoori eggplant. So here is the meal for today. And I hope that you get a chance to try all these recipes, because they do really complement each other, and it creates a beautiful plate. You can use it for Sunday brunch, you can use it for dinner, however you want to try it. But I hope that you do and find our recipes on our website, and we will see you next week.